guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon. Of course, if you have not been here before, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back. You can see I'm in a naked face today. We are actually going to do a foundation kind of second impression. I've tried this foundation once, but I don't really have like a ton of thoughts on it yet. So we're going to go ahead and try it again. Hopefully my video is okay. We'll see how it goes. I think you can see though, like, all of my blemishes in my face pretty well, so we're gonna kind of go from there. We are going to be trying the Wet n Wild Photofocus, the new Dewy Foundation. I said I wasn't going to purchase this, and then I was like, I seen it at Walmart for like so inexpensive, so I went ahead and picked it up. They didn't have all the shades though. They only had a few of the shades, and I picked up the shade, what shade is this? Soft Ivory. So this one's supposed to be light with a warm undertone, which I usually go more for like cool undertones, but I decided just to pick this one up and try it anyway. I know I just did a foundation review, but I love foundation. You guys know I like trying foundations. So we're gonna go ahead and try this one. I hated the original Photofocus foundation. Like, I decluttered that. I thought it was terrible. So hopefully I like this one better. If you guys are kind of interested in seeing me like try this out again and seeing my thoughts on it, like I said, I tried it once, but we're going to try it again because I didn't really pay attention to the wear time. But if you guys are interested, then just keep watching. Alright, so I am barefaced, so I'm going to go in with some primer. I'm going to use the Wet n Wild, the Photofocus Dewy Base. Since we're using a dewy foundation, I want to use a dewy base. I like dewy skin most of the time, and I've used this one for a while actually, and I kind of like this dewy primer. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that on to kind of like brighten things up. I'm not gonna put too much on my nose just because if you can tell, I have like, look at that. Isn't that disgusting? I have like a really gross breakout on my nose. And I don't get breakouts that often. I have noticed like recently though, if I get them, it's like in my nose corners or like on my nose. So I don't know what's causing that, but I cleanse and everything too, so I don't know. But you can see that gives a nice kind of like glow to the skin initially, and since we are going in with a glowy foundation, I thought it would be a nice one to pair with it, plus they're both Wet n Wild. And I'm going to be using a new sponge today. I have this e.l.f. Total Face Sponge. I got this free on an Ulta order. It gets pretty big, like it's wet, but it feels pretty big. I've only used it like once to try on like a little bit of blush, but it was dry, so I decided to wet it. It does feel like really nice. I feel like I've seen someone say they like this and someone say they don't like this, but I like the feel of it. It's like really soft and squishy. So I don't use sponges often, but I thought I would try out with the sponge since I haven't tried this one with the sponge. So I'm going to go ahead and shake it up. Now, I'm not sure on the shade range on this. Like, I'm not sure how many shades there were. I do know in my local Walmart there's only like 10 shades, but I'm assuming there is a bigger line of shades actually available. It's just that they didn't have it in my Walmart, so it's probably going to depend on where you buy it. You can purchase it on the Walmart website. I feel like though this one might have had a smaller range than the original Photofocus, but again, I'm not exactly positive on that. It's something I will have to look up. I will try to note it in the description box how many shades there are actually of this foundation. But yeah, I don't know. This is supposed to be kind of an extension to obviously their Photofocus line. It does say it's supposed to give a luminous finish, buildable coverage for normal to dry skin. So this does say it is for normal to dry skin. So obviously if you're oily, this probably isn't going to be for you, but the name Dewy would kind of give you that idea. Like the original one of this, it looked terrible on my nose area and my mouth area. And overall, I just did not like it. It smelled like paint. And it wore terribly on me. So I've worn this once and I can already say I know I like it better than the first version. So I have high hopes for this one. And it is really inexpensive. It was like $4 or $5. And I think actually at Target and a couple other places, they've already had it on sale for like $2 to $3. So you can get this really inexpensively. It does have the same sort of paddle applicator that the original one had. So it's the exact same bottle basically and the exact same applicator. My hair kind of like out of my face. Make sure that's out of my face. And then I'm just going to apply. Ooh, it's a little light. I feel like this is a little light, but we'll see how it blends out. I do want to get some coverage on my nose. So let's start with like that much, and then we'll kind of like go from there. There's quite a bit of coverage actually. Maybe I put a little bit too much. We'll have to see. I'll just have to kind of keep blending that out. Like I said, I don't usually use sponges, so maybe I'll go in after with a brush too and just kind of see if it builds up nicely. Let me grab a mirror behind me. I want to see. I need a mirror. Why didn't I grab a mirror? So I'm going to get a mirror and just like look up close. But I don't think it looks bad so far. All right, so we're up close. I can still see my freckles and like redness around here. Obviously, you can still see some of the redness on my nose and my pimple area, but it is obviously more covered. Everything looks a little bit more even. But I am going to try it, I think, with a brush really quick and see like if I can build it up and what it looks like with a brush as well, because I mean, it does definitely look dewy though. Like that could be the primer too, but it is definitely like a dewy finish. So kind of gives you an idea. It does look good though on my skin, so that's really nice. And I do have more like normal to dry skin, more on the normal side right now. So let me just grab a little bit more in a brush and we'll try it that way. So I'm gonna come back on here and just put like a little bit more right on my cheek area here. I don't need a much actually on my forehead, so I won't put much there, but just like a little bit on my nose. I don't want to add too much because I do think it's looking pretty good. I double checked it in a mirror and it's looking pretty good. So let's just like see if we can tap this in. I'm using this is a Morphe, just like a, what's it called? Y6. I think that it's just an M6 now that you can get, but same brush, just with a black handle. The brush applies it nicely too, actually, and it does build up a little bit. I do think I like it better on my nose with a sponge. So I am going to go back over with the sponge. I'm just pushing everything in with the sponge because I do think I like the look of this with the sponge, like everything pushed into my skin. I mean, it's not uber full coverage, but it definitely gives like a nice glow to my skin. And I feel like I do have a nice amount of coverage, like enough that I need to add like concealer and stuff on it. So far so good. Like I think it does give a dewy finish. I like the look of it much better even than when I applied it the first time. So I do like it with this like dewy primer. Obviously if you're oily, you're not going to like this, especially with a dewy primer, but I think it looks pretty good on my skin. So what do you guys think? Hopefully it's showing up on camera good. It's not too bad around my nose area. We'll see if it cakes up. Sometimes I cake up around this area in my nose, but I don't think it looks too bad so far. You can still see some freckles and stuff coming through, but I don't mind that. So just depending on what you're looking for, but I'd say this is like more of a medium coverage, medium to full if you want to keep building, but I would say more of a medium coverage. But yeah, definitely dewy, definitely like they said for normal to dry skin, but so far so good. So I'm going to go put some concealer on and then we'll come back and kind of discuss how everything looks on top. Guys, so I just went ahead and kind of like did my concealer. I actually used the e.l.f. what is this? Hydrating Camo Concealer. I thought this would pair well with it. And then I put underneath my under eyes the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder in Rosy Light. I just used a little bit of this, but I mainly used over my face the Jaclyn Luminous Powder in Do Me. I kind of like this for just like, I really like stamp it into a big fluffy brush like this, and then I kind of just like dab it all over my skin to set, but so I still have that luminosity to it, especially since I am using a dewy foundation. I think it looks so pretty. I think that combination looks really pretty. What do you guys think? I think my skin looks nice. I'm actually quite impressed with this so far. Like more impressed than I was the first time I tried this. So I definitely have to see how it wears throughout the day, but So far, so good, guys. I'm gonna put the rest of my makeup on. We'll pop back on and then we'll do some check-ins. All right, guys, so I'm back. So I finished up my entire makeup look. I have quite a few products that I use. Maybe I will mention them. I already mentioned that I use the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, as well as the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder, and then the Jaclyn Hill the Do Me Luminous Powder. For bronzer, I just went in with my Lawless, which one is this? My Lawless bronzer. I think it's the lightest shade. It doesn't really say on it, but I went in with this guy. I do like this one, as you can see. I just like to build this one up, but I did use that on my eyes. I used the Huda Nude Light Palette. So this one right here. I just used a couple of the pink shades, and then I went in with this shade all over the lid and kind of like in the inner corners. And then on my cheeks, I used this Natasha Denona Diamond and Blush palette. I actually got this on sale for like 58 bucks on Sephora instead of buying the Love palette. Best decision I ever made, because the Love palette is like $70 Canadian, but this has like similar shades. Like, look at that freaking highlight. I used this highlight, I used this blush here, and I used a little bit of this glow powder all over my cheeks, and I think it looks so pretty. It matches really well with the eye color as well, and it's just really pretty. Like, look at that highlight. It's absolutely gorgeous. Then I used on my brows, I just used this duo I've been using. I love the CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil. I used the shade 710, and then just to use it up, I used the AOA or Shop Miss A brow gel, and I just want to use this up. I'm not like crazy about it, but I used it. I used the Sephora. This is like one of the little gel liners in the shade Coconut. I've had this forever. I'm almost out of it. I like to just put this in my waterline to kind of like brighten my eyes up and make them look a little bit bigger. And then I use my favorite, my Superhero It Cosmetics mascara. I use this quite often. I always love this on my lashes when I don't wear, especially when I don't wear like black eyeliner. I think it just like gives my lashes a little bit of oomph, like length and volume. The only thing, like I mentioned plenty of times, I don't like is the gooping up on it, but it does work pretty well. And then over top of my makeup, I use the Wet n Wild Photofocus Coconut 3-in-1 Primer Water. I really like this. I like this under makeup, and I like it over makeup. I feel like it gives me a little bit of hydration and glow. Plus, it was Wet n Wild, so I figured I'd pair it with the foundation. But yeah, what do you guys think? This is how everything is looking on my skin. I think it looks really pretty. Yeah, like my forehead looks really nice. My lines aren't too pronounced. I mean, you can see them a little bit, but I am 35, so that's pretty normal. But other than that, I think it's looking pretty good. It has that nice dewy finish. Again, I think this is definitely for normal to dry skin. If you are oily, I would stay away from this one because it's probably not going to work for you. But so far, so good. I will maybe do a clip in natural lighting, and then we will do like a check-in near the end of the day to see what it's looking like. Okay, guys, so I have you in the front of my window, so in natural lighting, just to see the foundation and what it looks like in natural lighting, but I think it looks pretty, and the shade match isn't bad. It's not my perfect shade match, but I was able to kind of make it work with bronzer. It is a little lighter, but I do feel like it's darkened like slightly, so maybe this one oxidizes just slightly, but it's nothing too major. Definitely glowy. It has that dewy kind of finish. It looks pretty good on my forehead and on my cheek area so far, and even like around my nose area. So I think it looks pretty good so far. So I'll come back and do some check-ins, and then we'll see how it's wearing. Hey guys, so it's only been a couple hours, but I thought I would pop back on and just show you kind of what the foundation is looking like. Like I said, I've had it on for about 2 hours. I keep forgetting to show you like the time when I put stuff on, but it's been on since around probably 11 o'clock, and it's about 2 o'clock now, so it's been on a few hours. So I thought I would just like pop back on and show you what it's looking like. It's actually still looking pretty good. I mean, it's only been a few hours, so it shouldn't look terrible. But just so you can kind of see, my forehead doesn't really look any visibly different. I feel like a little bit dewier though. So this is definitely a dewy one. So I think it might get more dewy throughout the day. We'll have to like keep an eye on it. Keep in mind, I did use a lot of dewy products though, but I do like dewy skin, so it doesn't bother me too badly. My chin is still looking pretty good. Cheeks, I think, look pretty good. There is a little bit of rub off right here, and I'm going to say that's probably because of my runny nose when I eat because I just had spaghetti. But yeah, there's a little bit of rub off here. It's not building up too badly in the corners, but I can see it a little bit. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But other than that, I think it's looking decent so far. So I'll keep wearing it and we will check back in. Hey guys, so I'm back for my final check-in. It's about 8 o'clock now, so I've had this foundation on for about 8 hours, which I think is a pretty good wear test, especially for like a more dewy foundation, because I do find dewier foundations tend to break down a little bit more than, let's say, a matte foundation. But I think it's a decent wear time, so I thought I would pop back on and just kind of talk to you guys about what the foundation is looking like. I will say, I'm not like crazy about my under eyes, but that's more to do with my concealer. That's the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo. I don't mind that, but the more I wear it, I feel like it doesn't have the highest coverage. And this video isn't about that, but like, I don't know, there's something about that. It's not my favorite concealer right now. I feel like it is lacking coverage and it kind of fades throughout the day, so ignore my under eye areas. As far as the foundation, it has built up quite a bit in this area. You can see that there, I think. It creased a little bit up here. Yeah, and I feel like it's let go quite a bit around my nose area, which is typical on foundations for me because, like I said, my nose tends to run when I eat. It was running when I was eating, so it makes sense, but I don't think it looks great around this area. I'm not like crazy about, like, you can see kind of my lines a little bit. It's not bad, but it's not great, so definitely not a favorite of mine. I do, like I said, I don't like it around this area that much right now. Forehead, I think, looks good. I like my forehead. I don't think it looks much different than I did earlier. It is a little bit more luminous than it was, and you can kind of see here I'm a little bit luminous as well. It's not just the lighting. But I think around this area, my cheeks and stuff look pretty good. It's still pretty dewy. So I don't think it's too bad, but I'm not like crazy about it. I have longer lasting foundations at the end, foundations that look better around here. But I did want to take a brush that I use for powder and just kind of like tap these areas and see if it makes it look a little bit better. Let's just go like that. Sometimes just like tapping out and tapping around where you get a little bit oily or you might see a little bit of oil will make a foundation look a little bit better. I like dewiness, but like it was looking a little bit greasy. I still think it looks rough though in this area. What do you guys think? Yeah, it's a little rough in this area. And I do feel like it's faded a little bit, like down in this area and on my chin. So I don't know. I'm not like in love with this one, but I do like this way better than the original Photofocus foundation. So I would wear this one again. I would just like probably wear it on days that I don't want like super long wear. Or I'd mix it with another foundation if I wanted to make it more dewy, because it is a great dewy foundation. So I don't know, I'm kind of, it's like hit or miss with this one for me. It's not my favorite, but it is definitely better than the first one for me. Yeah, let me know what you guys think down below, but that's going to do it for this video. If you did like it, make sure you give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below if you want to become part of my YouTube family, and of course hit the bell notification if you want to keep up to date with my videos, because you know I'm not the most freaking uploader. I say that in every video, but just to remind you. But I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.